What's up, boys and girls of YouTube? Chris here from the Tiger's Den, and we got a treat last night. I thought I was going to be covering this later today, but I changed all of my week plans essentially, pushed things back a day or two, because last night, after getting home from a going away party for someone, Curse of the Vampire dropped on the Switch. So, let's talk about it. So as many of you know, I'm sure, the $20 DLC pack that comes with Marvel Ultimate Alliance, they announced some time ago that the first one would be dropping at the very end of September, and it was going to be Curse of the Vampire. It had all the Marvel Knights characters, and then Morbius. So this was obviously really exciting for most of us Marvel fans. I want to dig in, like I said, I want to tell you the good and the bad. So Nightmare Mode. Nightmare Mode comes with the game. Nightmare Mode is literally just playing through the story on a harder difficulty. Now, why is that important? Because this game raised the level cap to 150. So with this DLC installed for your Marvel Ultimate Alliance, level cap's not going to be 100 anymore, it's going to be 150. I know. Wow. The next thing that they added to the game is the S.H.E.L.D. Depot. Now, the S.H.E.L.D. Depot in the game is going to be an area that you're going to collect these S.H.E.L.D. tokens in the Gauntlet mode. I think in Nightmare Mode as well. I have not played through that far in Nightmare Mode. But you're going to be able to spend them on a few things. So you're going to notice on this page there's the ability to spend 30 S.H.E.L.D. coins on ability orbs. And you can do that 48 times. What the 48 or 48 means. Same with enhancement points. Now here you're going to be able to one-shot these, but these are all rainbow ISO 8s that you're going to be able to buy, and some of these synergize really well with the new DLC characters. We'll talk about that when we get to those characters. Like the remove chance of being interrupted, increasing damage, yeah, some of these are really good with those characters. The other interesting part is that you're now able to spend credits on XP cubes, and these are I think they're the mid-level XP cubes, and of course you can buy some Ultimate, you can buy some Cosmic, but those are going to cost you those S.H.E.L.D. coins, and as you can see on the right-hand side of their tab, they're going to be limited. You're also able to buy your crafting materials, the ISO 8s, and if for any reason you need to respec, you could respec. I'm not sure why you'd need to respec in this game, honestly, but if you need to, they're there. Now, another interesting thing is this tab. Now, this tab is the character tab in the S.H.E.L.D. Depot. You're going to be able to click on, I've already bought this, but you're going to be able to click on and buy different voice lines for characters, which I think are really cool, but at the same time, you're going to be able to buy, so you'll notice, I picked up this Captain America Super Soldier outfit. This is a brand new skin for Captain America in the game, and you can also buy, this is a neat one. After I purchased that, it opened up the option for this alternate color one, and I really like the color scheme of this. There's also alternate skins for Iron Man, so we can take a look at the Extremis armor for Iron Man in-game. Really like the Extremis armor. I would have liked to have seen something a little wackier out of his alternate armor on here. But the one that really got me going last night when I saw it is the new Thor outfit. You'll notice the new Thor outfit has Stormbreakers, so he's got the alternate axe as well as the alternate outfit. Now, I'm not as big a fan of the outfit as I am the classic Thor outfit, but one cannot deny the strength of Stormbringer and the appeal that it has. All of these characters, though, have alternate voice lines there. I'm not sure if they're going to be adding more costumes and stuff as time goes, but yeah, you can pop in and you can buy alternate voice lines, and some of these voice lines, interestingly enough, seem to proc like this one when you team up with Moon Knight. And so I think that's actually really interesting too. There we go. There's Punisher's voice line when teamed with Daredevil. So yeah, I think that's really interesting that you can pick those up. Of course, the other interesting thing that this added is boosts to the Alliance enhancement system. So you can see right there on the left-hand side the grid for the Alliance enhancement system. But now, whenever you pull this 130-point special enhancement, boom, we add another extra. Now the extra on all of these is going to be themed to that sphere still. So the first 3 are effectively like going to be mostly stats, it seems. This one's a little bit different because it's going to give you cursed and reborn damage increases, which affect Nightmare Mode and Gauntlet plan. I'll get to that in a minute as well. But you're going to have a strength boost, damage to stun enemies, light attack, and yeah, you can get an 8% flat bonus against reborn or cursed enemies. The other interesting thing, though, is that you have to get to the unique sphere, or the unique enhancement of each of these portions of the grid to unlock theirs. So this one, Vitality, 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 1% recovery to stunned enemies, 1% recovery of extreme attack, 1% more recovery every 10 seconds if your HP is 25% or less, 1% to stunned enemies. So you can kind of get the theme of these, and one has opened up really in every grid. So here's Mastery, 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 so you get 300 more Mastery there for pretty cheap. That's useful. And then damage to Frozen, damage to Bind, damage to Paralyze, damage to Burning enemies increased by a flat 5% damage. So these Alliance enhancement systems obviously built to flex as you go into Nightmare Mode. But let's talk about the big additions to this, because I've only gotten to the small stuff. So the first big addition is obviously the 4 characters, but before we get to that, we need to talk about Gauntlet Mode. The DLC promised an additional story or scenario, and what I will admit to being a little disappointed with is what they meant by that is Gauntlet Mode. So when you pull up Gauntlet Mode, you're going to first be shown Outbreak, which is a level 5 gauntlet. And this level 5 gauntlet, it's interesting. Gauntlet is like a variant of the Infinity Trial system in this game, because effectively you're going to have to do what is 3 Infinity Trials in a row before you complete it. You're just going to have to, like, one after another go through, like a gauntlet, yeah. So here you see the first out of 3 ones would be defeat 100 enemies, your EP slowly drops, but you'll recover it by attacking. You have 3 minutes to complete this. Once you finish that, now you need to defeat Nebula. Your EP again slowly drops, but you recover it by attacking. Abilities and synergies deal extra damage, but basic and EX attacks are less effective. Again, 3 minutes. Now, enemies affected by the Vampiric Curse definitely appear in this challenge. They are a little bit tougher, and they have these giant effect wheels around them. It actually looks a little bit, it reminds me of special enemies in Diablo that would have like the aura effects. And then here, defeat 40 enemies, your EP slowly drops, but you'll recover extra EP by attacking. Friend and foe alike deal damage, increase over time. You gain the rewards once you defeat it. You can see the rewards at the bottom there are mostly S.H.E.L.D. tokens. Now, let's look at the top, because the top is the part that they sold us on when they announced the DLC. This is what they meant by adding essentially a new story scenario, is that Doctor Strange is going to talk you through all of these missions. Seeking the origins of a powerful curse, Doctor Strange and his allies have crossed the barrier between dimensions again, but when they arrive, they find the deadly infection is already spread out of control. So basically, the story of this is Morbius wants to cure himself, tries to use the ISO-8s to do so, and because of that, his vampiric curse spreads to people in mass. Now, as you work your way through that, after you complete that, it opens up 3 new Gauntlet missions. The first one being Punisher. You're going to unlock Punisher at level 10 when you complete all 4 of these missions. All 4 of these missions, again, it's a level 10 gauntlet, so it's not too difficult. The last one, Doc Ock, Kingpin, and then finally Punisher. If you complete this, the clear reward is that you get Punisher. So, you know, clear it, get Punisher. Then the next one that they unlock is, in fact, the Blade one. And I think that's pretty apparent by the upper right. You get Blade by clearing it. It's 4, and it's level 20. You're going to unlock Blade at level 20. Basically, whatever level the Gauntlet is, that's what level you're going to be unlocking these guys at. Once you clear the Blade one, then you can come to 25. Here, we're going to be able to take on Moon Knight at the end of it. Defeating Moon Knight, you have to first defeat Nebula, then Ronan, then Moon Knight. You got 9 minutes. This is a really easy one. I actually thought this was easier than the Blade one. And once you get through this, you're going to unlock Moon Knight at level 25, so easy peasy. The last one is still, I mean, it's level 30, the cap is 100. You know, my characters are all level 50 plus, so like even for me, this one was, I mean, it was, you know, lengthy because it's a 5-stage gauntlet, but I don't think it was insanely difficult. And, you know, some of these are a little more annoying than others. Like, there's, you know, the pathway challenges where you have to, you know, find the right way through the lasers and shut off the terminals. That stuff's annoying. But once you get through that, you make it to, you know, fight Morbius. You shut down Morbius, and of course, you know, now Morbius is convinced by Doctor Strange to help you cure all of the people that he has since inflicted. That's the gauntlet. But then the second gauntlet opens up, and I actually just lost to this gauntlet this morning. So even with level 50 characters, the Avengers Afflicted Gauntlet, not so easy. The last mission on here, defeating Ultron and 2 bosses, is actually pretty difficult with level 50 characters. Though I was using the DLC characters with no ISO 8s, still wasn't easy. And then you have a level 50 gauntlet. I'm sure after I beat this, more will open up, but in the upper left-hand corner, these are going to continue to tell the story of the DLC. This is Phase 2. The first one was Phase 1. Basically, from the looks of it, you're going to complete more Gauntlet challenges, and it's going to open up more Gauntlet challenges. I don't believe that this is just 2 phases, if I'm being completely honest. I asked on Twitter, and they seem to pretty much confirm that. So yeah, some new challenges for you to play through. Now, again, the biggest part, I do want to show 2 things. One thing that this DLC revealed is that when you come to the Hero Select screen, yes, I've not completed the final 2 Infinity challenges, so I do not have Loki or Thanos, but that would be who's in the upper right. Now, if you're looking at the Character Select screen at the bottom, you'll notice there are more slots than there would need to be if there were 4 characters per DLC pack. So we have the 4 characters in the bottom right that come from this. Then you can count 4 characters plus 5 characters. So there's a total of 9 more slots at the bottom. Fantastic Four, 5 X-Men. We're going to find out who's in those 5 slots soon enough. But I thought that was an interesting reveal. And yeah, let's talk about the characters. Because here we have our 4 DLC characters in the flesh. And I'm just going to talk about them from unlock on. So Punisher is an interesting character because, of course, he has no powers, but dang doesn't he just look like he has so many weapons. I actually don't dislike the look of Punisher in this. His stats are not the most impressive to me, but that's okay. His abilities, on the other hand, do get me going. I actually very much like his abilities in game. So, first, we have heavy artillery. He leaps into the air shooting his assault rifle in the direction he's facing. Now, this is awesome. I absolutely love this move because it also is a retreat. And I do want to preface this by saying all of his rank up bonuses are effectively the same. They're all EP cost, attack damage, stagger gauge. All of them. Okay? So heavy artillery, great rapid fire move, also really good retreat ability. Love fire in the hole, retreats while throwing grenades in the character's direction. Love that. It's an energy and a burst ability. Smoke screen is probably one of his more interesting moves, and you'll notice of them, it starts at essentially a B rank for damage, D rank for stagger. I really like that. Piercing and barrage. It's just a good move. I like it. This is probably the most interesting of all of his moves. It starts at a C damage. He has to hold the button to charge it, and the damage definitely escalates the more you charge it. But you want to pay attention to how you charge it because it's definitely going to get to a point where it's like max charge. It also pierces through. It doesn't actually, I mean, it says foes caught in the laser sight, but this pierces. So whatever the laser sight line is, it's going to hit everyone in that line. I really like this ability, and it makes Punisher someone that I actually surprisingly like using. Now, the other thing I'll say is Punisher's basic attacks. He probably has one of my favorite basic attack chains in the entire game, just because his basic attack uses essentially every weapon that you're seeing on him. Assault rifles, pistols, shotguns. I mean, he's flipping it all out. It's great. So Punisher is a really worthwhile character. I'm surprised that I enjoy him so much, as I'm not the largest Punisher fan, but I think in-game he's really cool. The second character people are going to unlock is, of course, going to be the Daywalker himself, Blade. Now, Blade's got some really good vitality. Not only that, but his durability and his strength are nothing to, like, snub at. Of course, his resistance is a little bit less. Really like Blade's voice. I love his double blades here. And let's talk about his abilities, because I think Blade is a good character, but he's held back from being a great character by a few things. So, his basic attack, I talked about this with Punisher. Blade's basic attack regains health. I can't say enough about how much I love his basic attack's strength. Spinning Swords is a piercing ability that's a launch. You'll notice it says hold the button to charge. Really like this ability. If you can pull off the charge, it's great. And then you'll notice reduce EP cost, increase the power of charged abilities. Really like that as well. Okay, high stakes. Here we go again. Fires silver spikes in the direction the character is facing. Hold the button to charge. The more you charge it, the more stakes you're actually going to be firing. And you'll notice this is a BDC in terms of damage stagger EPs. This is EE, and it's because this really does rely on that charge. This also is going to have the reduced EP, increase the power of charged attack abilities. Off the Chain is also a charge ability. This is like Daredevil's swing ability, but I like it a little bit more. I like it more if you can pull off the charge. And I'll get to that when I summarize Blade here in a second, but Piercing and Aerial Assault, so good synergy traits there. Now, one thing I think holds Blade back, his best move, like Black Panther, essentially has no synergy trait attached to it. Firing is, he flings his glaive, it bounces from one enemy to another. If you can pull off the charge, this move becomes incredibly fun. Now, the thing I'm going to say, the increasing the power of the charged abilities, I adore that on all of these. You really, I think, to use Blade at his maximum, excuse me, puppy, you need to have ISO 8s on him that reduce the ability enemies will have to interrupt him. Because heavy focus on him is going to be charging these moves, knowing when to charge him and pull him off. And every time you get interrupted, you lose that EP. Blade's not exactly a character like gushing with EP. So yeah, you want to do that. I think that's actually what keeps him from being like an amazing character, is that he misses out on this synergy. I think he's still a solid character, just like Black Panther, he's a solid character. I just don't put him top tier because synergy moves are so important to the game. Having one that doesn't synergize is really a detriment. And it's one thing for it to not synergize because you're Captain America and it's a group buff. It's another thing to not synergize, but it's an attack ability and probably your most interesting one at that. Now, third character that you're going to unlock is, of course, going to be the one, the only, Mark Spector, the Moon Knight. Now, you'll notice under his hero traits, he has Glide. I can't stress enough how ridiculous Glide looks, so just know that. It looks terrible. I'll just say that. I mean, he jumps and he puffs his cape up, and it looks like... It looks like a worse version of Zelda using his little parachute, essentially. His stats are nothing in particular that amazes you. However, his moves are really cool. I would like to preface Moon Knight by saying I feel like the addition of Moon Knight makes the addition of Gambit really kind of a moot point. Now we have enough characters in the game that use a staff or use kick abilities or charge abilities or martial art abilities that I feel like all of Gambit's moves have already literally been seen in the game, and adding him would just be kind of lazy. So Moon Landing, interesting, it's a melee slam, hold the button to aim. So this is another hold to aim ability, but the difference here is that when you hold to aim it, there's actually going to be a reticle that moves around the screen showing you where you're going to dive and where you're going to hit. I like this move, but I like it more as an escape than I do as an actual attack. Vengeance Burst, yeah, this is definitely like, this could have been a Gambit move. That's what this looks like, that's what it performs like. And it really is just a retreat move that throws a bunch of like 5 crescent-shaped blades that explode. Crescent Kick, of course, incredibly good move. I really like this melee and launch. It's just a solid move. Khonshu's Fury is pretty standard. It's a high damage barrage ability, and it's higher damage base than probably any other barrage in the game. I'd have to double check all the characters I use heavily, like Miss Marvel, Luke Cage, but I do believe that the damage on this one is pretty big, without even unlocking the additional damage yet. Swings nunchucks in all directions, attacks in front of the character, but I will say it's also a little bit slower than theirs. Moon Knight is a very serviceable character in this game. There's nothing taking away from Moon Knight. I really like him as a character in the game. The final character that you unlock is Morbius, and you're going to notice that Morbius has just junk, durability, resistance, his mastery is blah, his energy and strength are okay, and his vitality is pretty good. He has flight, and he has healing factor. So why are you using Moon Knight? Because he has flight, and he has healing factor, right? Those are the 2 reasons that you would use it. Here we look at his abilities, and this is where it gets interesting. So Claws and Fangs is a charge ability, but you're going to notice that it's not just energy, it's also piercing. So he jumps forward onto foes, drains their health, boosting the damage of, temporary boosting damage the character inflicts. Hold the button to charge. This is a really good move. You're going to want to start almost every engagement with a Claws and Fangs just because it boosts Morbius. Vicious Ramp, or Vamp, is his slashing claws, press repeatedly, so yeah, I mean, this is, you know, it's a barrage ability with really good damage, and you'll notice how I ranked it up. It is faster than Moon Knight's. I mean, it's kind of a basic ability. It functions very similar to Wolverine's. I almost think it's like a shot-for-shot Wolverine's with less stagger and more damage. Slashing Strike. This move it's difficult to read for me how useful this move is going to be because you'll notice it has no synergy trait. He essentially teleports, I say teleport because he moves so fast, like Nightcrawler fast, to whoever he's attacking to cut them, and you can just repeat this move, essentially going around the screen attacking people. I mean, it's cool. The damage is, you know, alright. I just, I don't know if, you know, the stagger and EP use are worth the lack of synergy here, is my problem. And of course, this is probably the reason you play Morbius and the reason you use him. His hypnotic gaze stares at foes in front of him, paralyzes them for a time, increasing the amount of damage they take. And you'll notice the rank ups are the increased effectiveness and duration. So that makes Morbius a really good, like, debuff character, and then, of course, so you hit the Claws and Fangs, then the Gaze, and then you just go in with something like this. Or his basic attack. His basic attack is okay. He's just kind of an overall weird dude, and it's hard to get a read on how he's supposed to play. These are the 4 DLC characters, and I have to say that I like all of them more than a couple of characters in the base game, for sure. None of them, though, are as cool as Colossus or Cyclops in terms of, you know, how good they are. But the last thing that I wanted to talk to you about is that sweet, sweet team bonus on the right-hand side. I did not understand this one bit, but having these 4 together gives a 4% increase to strength, 15% to mastery, 6% to resistance, 2% to health. That's just a good spread of team bonus. Yeah, I really like the way these 4 came together. So yeah, last night I went through, I played a bunch of the Gauntlet mode. I started a new game in the Nightmare mode just to see what the enhanced bad guys are like. And what I can say about this DLC, it's the first of 3, is that I'm very impressed with some of the things that they did with these 4 characters. You know, Blade being a character that's heavy on charge moves. We don't actually have a lot of that in the core, like, 40 characters. Morbius having the debuff and having less good base stats, but you can pump his stats by life stealing. That's really thematic, and I like that. Moon Knight is just a solid character choice, and I think that's probably the right angle for him to go. Punisher is probably, of the 4 here, the best feeling character if you're a fan of him in the comics, because all of his moves feel like what Punisher would do. And his basic attack is, yeah, pretty much Punisher is not saving ammo, that's for sure. But one of the things that I was kind of disappointed in is, of course, the story mode being the Gauntlet. Now, it's not a bad thing. I mean, I was curious as to how they would add new scenarios anyways. And this definitely told me that if they're going to be adding new scenarios for the Fantastic Four or more X-Men, it's likely going to come in that Gauntlet form. And anyone expecting, like, new cutscenes or, like, brand new additions at the end of the story, that expectation might be a little high. I think what we're going to see is stuff like this added with the Fantastic Four and with the X-Men, where it's a new play mode, and that new play mode is how you unlock the characters, but then it's also more like Gauntlet mode is. And I think while my expectations were a little bit higher than that, I've thought about it overnight and kind of let that digest, and I'm okay with it. Again, I think the expectation that we were going to get like new cutscenes and new story for a $20 DLC pack that has, you know, again, 13 characters in it according to the portraits on the character select screen, is it is a little lofty, and it's a little bit much for a game that, you know, sold as good but not as like stellar as this game has. So, all in all, kudos to Team Ninja. If this is any way the way you're going to be handling the other 2 DLC packs, I am very happy that I put in the $20 to get the extra characters and to get the extra play modes, because they were and are really fun. The added, you know, 50 levels on the level cap, I could take or leave that. Level 150 is not something that I was like sitting there going, yeah, we're in our 50s, but damn it if I can't just get a character to level 150. And at the same time, I do have to say that I do really like the S.H.E.L.D. depot. I like the idea of being able to spend the massive amounts of credits that you accumulate throughout the story once you're done with the Alliance enhancements on those cubes, because that's definitely what helped me just flat out ramp all these characters up to 50 and play them with the characters I currently have. So I really like the way they're handling that stuff. The added costumes only being for Captain America, Iron Man, and Thor is a little bit weird, but I understand also that by opening up the S.H.E.L.D. depot, we can give alternate costumes. Say when the X-Men set drops, we could give alternate costumes to all the X-Men characters that can be bought in that S.H.E.L.D. depot. So I understand that they're laying some framework there that can be utilized later, and I do appreciate that as well. And yeah, I mean, all in all, guys, I'm trying to be objective here. There are, like I said, some minor quibbles I have with this DLC pack. But for $20, I feel like this could have been $20. That's how much content is actually here. I'm really excited for getting X-Men before the end of the year. Like, having Cyclops and Colossus now, I'm not sure who they'll have. I'm pretty sure Jean and Iceman will be in it. I think Beast is a likely candidate. But I'm really excited to see who all they add. And then thinking about my Fantastic Four, yeah, I can't wait. So what about you guys? Have you had a chance, now that it's Monday morning, to sit down, take a look at your update, and play some Marvel Ultimate Alliance with these Marvel Knights? Are you looking forward to doing that this week? If so, which of the 4 were you most excited for, or which of the 4 are your favorite? I'll say again, I think my favorite out of them as a character is definitely Blade, but in-game, I think it's actually Punisher. So yeah, that was a huge surprise to me. I love when they just drop these things a day early. And thank you guys for joining me. I've been Chris, this has been the Tiger's Den, and you guys have been fantastic. If you're new to the channel, be sure to like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we'll see you again next time.